Hello there, and welcome. My name is Calliope. I'm going to be performing your first chiropractic examination with us today. How are you doing today? Yes, I did see that in your intake form. So let me take a peek at that. So you've been having some issues with your neck, yeah? Okay. And would you mind telling me a little bit about that? Yeah, just in your own words. What you think it could be caused by, how long you've had it, things like that. Okay? I'll just be jotting some of this down while you're speaking. Okay, and it's all right. Okay, and you've had this for a couple weeks, right? And is there anything in particular that makes it feel better? Stretching a little bit, okay. Have you tried heat or ice at all? Okay, and have you tried rubbing at it, kind of a massage sort of thing? Okay, so it's pretty tender, right? That's good to know. Now, what makes it worse then? Yes, definitely activity, and we said touch. Okay, and anything else? Any specific kind of activity? Any sort of posture? Okay, that's good to know. So I just want to confirm with you real quick before we move on. I do have your name here on the intake. I just want to make sure that that's the name you prefer to go by and how you like to be addressed. Okay, so we do have that correct. Wonderful. Just want to make sure. So I'd like to proceed with our examination, and this is going to involve a lot of movement, and we're also going to be looking at the health of the motor and sensory functions of your nerves as well. So we're going to be moving your head quite a bit. I'll be pressing down on it, lifting up. We'll do some different range of movement activities. I'll be just stroking along the arms to check on your sensation, things like that, okay? So for the purposes of this examination, is it okay if I touch you? Wonderful, thank you. Now the most important thing that I need you to do is just to let me know if there is any pain or tenderness when we do any of these exercises or when I press down on an area. This information will tell us a little bit about the nature of your pain, what could be causing it, and what we can do to address it. All right? Very good. So we're going to start with some range of movement. I'm going to first ask you to do some specific movements, and then I'm actually going to take your head and do some passive movement. And we're going to do some resistance tests as well. So I'm going to grab my clipboard. I will be making notes from time to time. And for our very first range of movement exercise, for our active sort of movement, I would like you to just turn your head to one side and then the other. Can you do that for me? Just turn your head from one side to the other. Good. Just a couple of times like that. And can you tell me if you feel any sort of pain, tenderness, stretching, pulling, anything of that sort? Okay, so we are right about here. And a little in here as well. Okay, good to know. Wonderful. And if I could have you just tilt the head from side to side. So if you could just get that bit of lateral movement, one side to the other. And can you tell me a little bit about how that feels? And how do the sides compare? Is one side in particular more severe than the other? Good to know. Very good. And next, I'm going to have you look up and look down. Okay? You could do that as best as you can. Just a few up and down motions. And I'm just going to look here at the side because I like to just note what kind of angles we can get and how far you can get. Is the forehead parallel to the ceiling? Can the chin be tucked down all the way to the chest? Good. That's excellent. And tell me a little bit about how that movement feels for you. Okay. So now we're going to do some passive movement. I am going to be taking your head and I'm going to be moving it from side to side, tilting and moving up and down, right? Do let me know if there's any pain or tenderness, right? So if you'll just give me a moment here, I'm just going to get a good grip here. And I'd like to first just move the head from one side how is that? We go one side to the other. Okay, that's pretty alright. So now let's go ahead and tilt a little bit. Good. And come back to center. And we'll tilt. Good. Let's tilt again. Tilt. Good. And tilt. Alright, and now we're going to go up and down if that was all okay. Okay, that was fine as well. Alright, so let's go up up and down. Okay, and how is that? That's all been pretty okay. Alright, so I'm just going to jot down some notes real quick. So, upon our passive Good. Now we're going to get more into the muscles, and we'll do some resistance testing. So I am going to be having you resist me trying to push you in one direction or another, and you just do the best you can. So I'm just going to get in position here, right? And I am going to try to push you that way. I want you to resist me, right? I'm going to try to push. I want you to resist. Good. And then I'm going to try to push you the other way. And I want you to resist me, okay? I'm going to try to push this way. Okay, good muscle strength there. I'm going to try to push your head to this side. I want you to resist me. Okay, good. And how about the other side? And try to press you, and I just want you to resist me. Okay, we have a little more give there. And I'm going to try to push your head down. I want you to resist me. Good. I'm going to try to push your head back, and I want you to resist me. Okay. A little bit. Okay, and that all seems pretty good. So I'm just going to have you stay nice and steady there, and I'm going to jot down some notes. And then we can do some different orthopedic tests. And we're going to start with foraminal compression. And I'm going to be pushing down on the top of your head. And we're going to see if that compression causes any sort of pain. So do let me know if it does, right? So I'm going to press on the top of the head. Good. And how was that? Okay. And now I'm going to lean to one side or the other and bias one side. See if there's one side that might be having a little bit of issue. So we'll just bias this side here. How was that? Good. And what about this side? If I press down here. That's pretty good, okay? Now we're going to do max foraminal compression, and I'm going to have you follow my finger, and I'm going to have you essentially look back and do that sort of compression yourself, okay? So if you could just follow my finger here, I'm just going to have you go back. Okay, and that's fine. And follow my finger here, and we'll go back over here. And that's fine, okay. Now I'm just going to be pulling up on the head. So let me know if this causes any pain. Good. And how is that? Okay. And did it happen to make anything feel better at all? Okay, that's good to know. So, distraction. Better. Good. So now we're going to work with some neurological tests, and we're going to start with motor tests. So the nerves have sensory and motor functions. We're going to be testing how that's all working. So first I'd like you to just put your arms up so that the angle between your upper arm and your side is 90 degrees. They're essentially at shoulder line, the elbows. And I'm going to be pressing down. I just want you to resist me trying to press you down, okay? So I'm going to press down. Okay, good. So we have good strength there, and that tests C5 and the deltoids. Now I'm going to have you do what I like to call kind of an arm bar motion, and have you put your arms so that we're making a 90-degree angle here, and I'm going to be pulling you and pushing you. I want you to try to resist both of these. So I'm going to try to pull you towards me. I want you to resist. Good. And I'm going to try to push you, and I want you to resist. Good. Okay. So C6, C7, all good. And then I'm going to have you put your arms down at your side so your upper arm is in line with the side of your body. And then I'm going to have you put your forearm at a 90 degree so it's perpendicular to the floor. With this, I'm going to have you cock back the wrists so that it looks like this. And I'm going to try to push them down, okay? Just want you to resist me pushing them down. Good. I'm going to have you flip them over and pull your wrists up, okay? So pull them towards you. I'm going to try to push them out. Okay, pull up the wrists, and I'm going to try to pull them out. Good. And now if you could curl your fingers, just like how I had you right there. And I'm going to try to uncurl the fingers, okay? Just try to resist me uncurling the fingers. Good. Excellent. So we've done 2. And now I'm going to have you hold your arms up and make a table with your fingers here. So the wrists are straight. Make a table with the fingers. I'm going to try to push them down. I want you to resist. So make the table with your fingers. I'm just going to try one at a time. Push them down. Just like that. Okay, we have good strength there. And then lastly, we're going to check on the finger muscles. I'm going to have you splay your fingers a bit, and I'm going to put my fingers in between yours. I want you to try to keep my fingers from pulling out of yours. So we're going to be squeezing these fingers together. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to try to pull out here, and I want you to resist me. So splay your fingers. I'm going to put mine in the fingers here, in those grooves. And if you could just squeeze my fingers and try to keep me from pulling back. Wonderful. All right. So, finger adduction looks great. The extensors all good. Flexors, what have you. And then we can do some different sensory tests. Good strength. Okay. And now I'd like to test your sensation on your arms and your hands. I'm going to have you hold out your arms, and let's start with the palms to the floor. And I'm going to have you close your eyes. I want you to just tell me if you feel my touch on your arms. Okay? You could just close the eyes. Good. And can you feel that? Good. And does it feel the same on both sides? It does. And I'm going to do that on the lower arms as well. How does that feel? Okay. And is that the same on both sides as well? Good. And a bit on the hands. Okay. And does that feel the same? And if you could flip the hands over. Does that feel the same? It does. Okay. So lastly, I'd like to test some of your reflexes, the deep tendon reflexes, the myotatic reflexes. Now, some people like to use a Tromner hammer here. This is common neurological reflex hammer. Some people like to use the Taylor hammer here. And some people might even like to use the Buck hammer, a pretty standard hammer as well. But I particularly like to use the Queen's Square hammer. Quite like the bounce on this. Just like that. Now I'm going to be using this on quite a few reflexes. While we're here, we might as well do the knee jerk reflex. Everyone knows that one quite well. So if I could just have you relax the knee here, just let it go loose. And I'm just going to do a couple taps here and here. Just like that. I quite like the Queen Square because it's much more bouncy. And it feels a little less, I don't want to say invasive, but there certainly is a lot less of a force involved. Now I'm going to do the triceps reflex. So I'm going to be holding your arm up, and we're going to be hitting right back here. And I just want you to let me take the weight of your arm. I'm going to bring your arm up. And then we're just going to do a couple of... Good, just like that. And the other side, I'm going to bring the arm up and let it go limp. Okay, and then... Very good. And bring it back down. Now if I could have you just hold your lower arm out, I'm going to be doing the biceps reflex now. So with the biceps reflex, I'm going to put my thumb on this tendon right here. You can see that tendon quite a bit more if you clench your fist and flex the muscles in the arm. But I'm going to put my thumb right there, and then I'm going to be tapping directly on my thumb, okay? So we'll just do, and see the tendon jump, and then we'll do the other side. I'm going to put my hand around your elbow, thumb goes on the tendon there, and then good. And then we'll do brachioradialis. So this here, I'm just going to have you hold your arm the same way. And we're going to do a little bit of tapping here. Sometimes I can get it better in one spot. There we go. And the other side. There we go. Okay. That one can be a little tricky. But your reflexes all look great. So, what I want to do with you, we're going to go a little bit over our treatment plan. So, we're certainly going to want to do some adjustments, and hopefully we can get some of this neck pain resolved pretty quickly and then chip away at it. What I'm thinking I want to do with that, I want to try some soft tissue work, but we might have to do a little bit of work beforehand because you said it's quite tender, yeah? Yeah, so soft tissue, certainly, but we might have to be quite gingerly about it and a little cautious. And of course, most chiropractic adjustments are not complete without the high velocity, low amplitude sort of movements. And I think certainly I want to see you doing some physical therapy as well. So we have some PT that I want to order, and that's going to also help open up the area and keep it from locking up again, because we're not quite sure what it is that you're doing that's making this injury, this pain, more of an issue. But what we can do is try to train your body a little bit so that it moves in a better way, and hopefully we can get that from further contributing to the pain. Okay? Alright, so we'll do some adjustments and physical therapy. Depending on how that goes, we might add in some things, but I think this is a good start. So tell me a little bit about how you're feeling about all of it. Okay, so far everything seems all right. Excellent. All right. I wouldn't do anything that you weren't comfortable with, so if there's something you don't want to do, that's more than fine. Just keep me in the loop, okay? Alright, so with that, I think that we've got you all squared away, and at our next appointment, we will work into getting you adjusted and hopefully alleviating some of that pain real quick, right? I'd like to thank you so much for coming in today. It was wonderful having you. I hope you have a whale of a day and a good rest of your night. Thank you. Goodbye now. Thank you so much for watching this video. I category of my videos. My channel playlists have everything from sci-fi to historical to even fantasy videos. If you want to support my work, consider checking out my Patreon profile in the description box, where I offer early access to